dissect girls. Did you know I'm utterly insane?
Why don't you make like a tree and get out?
The blackest diet.
Kill God.
Come on! Make this pencil.
You're terminated, fucker. Live or die, man.
Rose? We're going, we don't need Rose.
The only one.
Kill you all. Goonies never say die.
Zombies. Joker. As you can see, I'm not happy.
Are you not entertained?
This is friend.
Happy trails, Hans.
Hello and welcome back once again to the Skewered Universe Podcast. We said we'd do once a month, and we're here, back in September. If you remember, we did one in August, now it's September. We've kept to once a month.
We're not doing our themes,
Yay.
but we're doing once a month.
Yeah, the themes will...
It was
we'll
just
work
an
those
idea
out.
for us.
Yeah, I think we can work those out. Maybe October we can do a little something, November do a little something. I still want to try and do Nick Cage November, but nevertheless, we are back. Quite a few things have happened in the last month. We've seen a few things, and we've liked a few things. We haven't liked a few things.
Yeah.
We saw Antebellum. We're not going to cover that.
The reason, well,
But-
I want to say the reason we're not going to cover it is because the main thing that gets me is the end.
Right.
And that's what I want to talk about.
Right. We'd have to get into heavy spoilers, and we don't want to do that with it being such a new movie. I got through the first 2 seasons of Cobra Kai that are on Netflix, and it's amazing and awesome. And I forgot just how much I enjoyed the Karate Kid stories. It was so good. So good to revisit. You had me watch the rest of season 3 of Agretzko,
That's true.
which took a dark turn.
Oh, it was
I'm-
beautiful.
I'm not going to say anything in case there are fans out there who haven't got to it yet. But if you like anime with
It's
fun
dark.
stories that will take an immediate right turn into a dark territory, watch it.
Well, the
It
thing,
got
you know,
nuts.
it's one of those cute ones. It's not too cute. It's for grown-ups who work in an office environment and all that stuff. So it's cute and normal and fine and whatever. But this last season, it got dark. It got really dark.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah, because you talked about it a little bit on the last episode, and I hadn't seen it when we recorded that last episode, so we went back and you had me watch the episodes that I didn't finish with you, and I was not expecting it to go where it went.
Yeah.
It got crazy.
Yeah.
And then I checked out, you kind of saw parts of it, but you weren't watching too intently. I saw You Cannot Kill David Arquette.
Yeah, that was really good. I didn't see the end, but it was good.
Oh, the end got really, really kind of emotional. Because you see his death match that was all over TMZ. You know, they criticized wrestling because it shouldn't go this hardcore. He had extensive injuries from the fluorescent light tubes that, like, cut his neck really bad. But it really got to me because at that show, Jungle Boy, who's in AEW, who's Luke Perry's son, was there. But Luke Perry was also there, and he was really close friends with David Arquette. And it was not long before Luke Perry passed away, so I was sitting there like, I was getting all emotional. I'm like, this is so sad. But it's good. If you like wrestling, if you remember the weird fucking shit that WCW did by putting the title on David Arquette, watch this, because
It explains everything.
it explains everything.
He wasn't trying to be a joke, he just didn't know how to go about it the appropriate way.
Yeah, the powers that be kind of forced it on, and then everyone just kind of went with it. But I'd say give it a watch. It's really well done.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
And then, just another brief thing, we watched the Happy Happy Joy Joy, the story of Ren and Stimpy.
Because it's my favorite cartoon of all time since I was a child.
It was a favorite of mine as well. I think I've watched the Space Madness episode like 20 times. Just remember the bar of soda. It's my ice cream sandwich. But that also took a
dark turn, and I think I remember hearing something about it, but I didn't remember.
Yeah,
and then when they got to that part, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, I remember them talking about him being very difficult to work with, which they touched on.
It mostly bums me out because Ren and Stimpy is no more.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a bummer.
Yeah. It'll never come back. It's not going to have a resurgence. I wouldn't mind if somebody was able to get the rights to the old episodes and release them in a set somewhere.
Yeah, that would be really nice. I would like that.
I mean, that means he's going to get money out of it, but at the same time, some of us would like to have those episodes. They're not readily
At the
available.
same time, he created it, so despite what we feel about him,
Yeah.
he did create it, and he deserves the money for the rights.
Yeah. It's a situation where I have to separate the art from the artist.
My thing is, if they didn't do time, like if he didn't do time, then you can't say, I don't want you to get money because you're this and that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
not
muddy waters.
It's not a Victor Salva situation, the guy who did Jeepers Creepers, who actually did do time, I believe, for pedophilia, child molestation type stuff. And that's why I haven't purchased any of the other Jeepers Creepers films. I think I have the first 2 on Blu-ray, and that was before I knew, really, the whole story. And then after that, I was like, you know what? I can separate those 2, but anything else, I'm not willing to give you my money, dude. Now that we've gone down kind of a dark path here.
Well, I'm on the episode, so it's gonna get a little dark.
Yeah. I've had an exciting last few days.
Yes, you have.
Yeah.
Congratulations, by the way.
So we're recording this on September 27th. And on I believe it was the 24th, we were notified at my office that someone had tested positive for COVID-19. So I didn't have to go to work on Friday. I went and got a COVID-19 test done at our local CVS. Quick and easy. Said I'd get the results in 2 to 3 days. I got them today, and negative.
Whoop, whoop.
I've been feeling fine, but I've also been just kind of keeping track of how I felt to see if anything changed, if I felt different. I didn't. So, good news all around.
Yeah.
Nobody's at risk, and I can go back to work tomorrow.
And you can walk around the house without a mask on.
Yes.
Yay.
That's also good. Yeah. Office has been sanitized and sterilized and all that good shit, so be ready to go back tomorrow. But, yeah, that's the most exciting thing that's happened.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from, and if any of you follow me on social media or anything like that, you see my personal Facebook, and I think I posted it to the Skewered Universe page. I got a few things because we were giving ourselves early pre-wedding gifts.
Yes.
Since we have our date scheduled for October 20th to do a virtual ceremony and all that, but I picked up the Volume 1 trade paperback of Marvel Zombies. I picked up the Blu-ray of 42nd Street Forever, which is a shit ton of exploitation
I love
and
it.
grindhouse trailers from the 70s and 80s.
I love it.
We saw part of that, and we're gonna save that and kind of touch on those on a later episode.
Yeah.
I also picked up the Blu-ray for Just Desserts, The Making of Creepshow, which we watched the other night, which was really good. It was really informative. I think you were kind of passively watching.
Okay, I'm
we
like,
watched
shit,
it.
did I watch that?
It was on, I think it was on Friday night. So it was a couple nights ago, but it was good to learn all the behind the scenes, what went into the making of it. Made me miss George Romero, but
For sure.
it's good. if you're a fan of Creepshow, any of that behind-the-scenes shit, I'd advise picking it up. The reason I'm saying all this, because we're getting to the meat of this episode. I also picked up a Blu-ray of the Dario Argento produced, and I have the case right over there, Lamberto Bava film, Demons. Ooh. And that is what we're going to be talking about today. But we're going to do it the same way we did the last episode, how we did Squirm. We're going to start watching. We're going to come back in intervals, 15, 20 minutes or so. Kind of give you a brief rundown of how we're feeling about the film. Now, I have seen this before. I watched it on Shudder. It was on one of Joe Bob's first last drive-in seasons that he had. But that was like 3 years ago at this point. So I'm ready to revisit it. I think you'll appreciate it.
Okay.
Because it's fucking nuts. little inside joke there, but we'll leave it in. We'll leave it in. So yeah, we're gonna start watching. Watching Demons.
Okay, so I'm a tiny bit of an artist. I like to doodle, and I'm looking at different ways to do noses because I'm having a hard time with this one particular nose. So I looked up some noses, and this particular one looks like a penis. That is a sketched penis with nostrils.
Yep. It is a face phallus.
Dual function.
Oh, God.
Multifunction. So back to Demons. I've heard it's a great movie.
Just sit there so many jokes, and she's just going, I can't get pregnant if you go down on me. It's like, well, if I sneeze, you can. Oh, God. Anyway, Demons. The Dario Argento, Lamberto Bava joint. I believe it's from 1985. I'll double check that and give you guys the notes later. But we'll check back in a little bit, and we will talk to you then.
You've seen the show. It was quite a treat. But now you'd like something to eat, so right this way to the concession stand serving Castleberries, the best in the land. Yes, sir. Castleberries is real southern barbecue. Choice cuts of meat slowly cooked over open pits of smoldering oak coals for honest-to-goodness barbecue flavor. You'll also find hot coffee, cold soft drinks, and delicious ice cream in our snack bar to go with your Castleberry sandwich. Just look at that generous helping of rich, juicy barbecue. Yum, yum.
All right, so we're about 15 minutes in here. I'm going to check the timestamp real quick. Yeah, okay, 16 minutes. And, what are you thinking so far, Leiann?
Well, Jeff, I have quite a strong opinion on a few of the actors that I hope are going to die soon. So they decide to go to this movie theater. They got this flyer, right? They go to this theater to watch this movie, and these two fucking yuppie douchebags who think they're God's gift to women decide, we're gonna help out these ladies, and now they owe us to sit next to us, and we're gonna be creepy and look at them. You can hold my hand if you want. I hope they die. I hope their penises get chopped off. When he handed her the soda, he touched her fingers. That's inappropriate.
Yeah, you notice how she yanked the soda away from him? Like,
so gross.
Touch me.
Gross.
Like, she's like, I don't want you guys near us. And the other girl's like too, like, mousy to say, like, oh, I don't want to be offensive.
You can hold my hand if you want to. I won't mind. Fuck off! I did not say you could sit next to me, creep.
Now, there are a couple things I forgot to tell you.
Don't tell me too much.
No, that it's dubbed. There's an English dub over the actors.
I don't care.
They were speaking phonetically, probably a lot of Italian actors with heavy accents.
Okay.
It does start off a little slow, but once it gets going, it gets going.
Well, I'm already interested because these two douchebags. I'm really interested.
Oh,
and
I know.
I really hope that pays off because I don't like them. They're just going to disappear, aren't they? Don't tell me.
I don't remember. It was 3
if you
or
don't
4
remember,
years ago.
then yeah, okay.
I know that I really, really enjoyed the movie because it's crazy. I know I'm sitting here doing things with my fingers on my hand, twisting my fingers together, and it's not sexual. It's a weird Vulcan twisted.
No.
We're just gonna stop there. All right, so we're gonna get back into the movie. We'll check back in well, you'll hear us very soon after this brief intermission.
I'm the Dairy Queen, won't you come with me along the milkshake way? I've got lots of good surprises, fresh and yummy for you every day. There are malts and shakes and sundaes too, whenever you stop. And of course your very, very favorite, the cone with the pearl on top.
You don't have to just dream about Dairy Queen. Your favorite Dairy Queen treat is a refreshing reality at your nearest Dairy Queen store.
All right, so we're back with another check-in. You had a huge sigh before we paused. What are you thinking so
They
far?
keep touching her. They keep touching the chicks, and it's bugging the shit out of me. I understand the situation has changed now. There are apparently demons running all over the theater. But the guys are still touching the chicks, and it's driving me crazy. You see demons with like these bubbles coming out of their necks and green goop coming out of their mouth, and they're turning into creatures, and the guys are still touching the chicks.
Yeah, they don't seem to be too not into touching the guys or the guys touching them. They seem to be like, oh, we're scared, hold us, you're men.
We'll protect you.
Like, so far they've proven ineffectual. They haven't done anything.
They've literally done nothing.
Yeah. So I forgot to give a quick synopsis of what the movie's about in the beginning.
But I wanted to be surprised.
No. I'm basically just the brief idea of what the movie is.
Oh.
People go to a theater for the screening of a movie. Things that happen in the movie happen in the theater. Unleash demons. All hell breaks loose. That is what we're dealing with. I'm doing no more than that. You've seen that all hell has started to break loose.
Apparently.
Yes. And we have Rick James demon running around.
Yes.
Because one of the female prostitutes.
Oh, is she a prostitute? Okay,
Yes.
good to know. I didn't realize that.
The gentleman with them is essentially their pimp. And
Okay.
They are his hoes.
Oh, is that what a friend is? A friend is a hoe.
Yes.
That's my friend.
At least
She's a
classy
hoe.
about it.
Yeah, that's true.
At least he wasn't
He
like,
was
"Get
the
away
only
from my
one
bitch."
that did go up to the chick and say, "What the hell?"
Well, there was the older gentleman who's there with his wife, who was the first one. Oh no, it was the younger guy that ran up. It wasn't the older guy. I think the older guy stayed in his seat, like, I'm not getting near her. Fuck that. It was one of the young guys that you don't like touching one of the female leads. So we've got 2 demons so far, and the killing is commencing.
Yeah, the neck bubbles are interesting.
It's Italian. They go for gross. And I love it. Alright, so we'll see you guys in a bit. Suck a bag of dicks.
Oh, the time is now, the time is here. Now's the time for a bite of cheer. A tasty light where the price is right. Well, look at here, you'll dig this sight. The moment's handy for a piece of candy. Just name your brand, they're all so grand. Hey, what do you think of a nice cool drink? Or a big box filled with a popcorn thrill? Let your taste buds meet with an ice cream treat. Refresh yourselves, it's time to eat. So come on, folks, let's join the band as we all head for the refreshment stand.
We are back. We've watched another 15 minutes or so. We've gotten to the point where more people have been turned into demons. And we've got our random car of punks snorting cocaine out of a Coke can. So what are you thinking so far?
I appreciate the gore very much. Every time some of that pus vomit gets in someone's mouth, an angel gets its wings. I found myself literally going, what? And that's the sign of a good movie.
She dry heaved. I can attest to that. It It was awesome.
There was, at one point, there was one of the guys that he was just like, he was on top of her. She was on the ground, and he was kind of on top of her, and he just had that stuff just pouring out of his head.
Fountaining out of his mouth.
And it was going on her face and in her mouth and all over her body. And I just thought, oh man, that is so unsanitary.
Do you want COVID? Because this is how you get
That's
COVID.
how you get COVID, folks.
And we didn't mention, so we'll bring it up now. There was a blind man who went to see the movie.
Uh-huh.
Blind man went to see the movie.
Uh-huh. Which I thought was stupid to begin with, but
Yeah.
you know what? It's a movie.
Apparently, according to some of the trivia, because I already kind of looked, it was meant to be an ironic joke that a blind man was going to see a movie.
And then he gets his eyes ripped out. I think it was overkill, honestly. I think we could have done without it.
But at least through him, we found out that the theater is what's cursed.
Because
not the
he
movie.
knows. Because
Yeah.
he knows. He's blind, so he has 10 senses. Yeah, and so the guys that are touchy-feely are still in the movie. They're now pussies. Which is, I appreciate, but I would like them to die. I like the hangings.
The hangings were very good.
Yeah.
One woman got her scalp ripped off, which apparently caused her to die, or maybe she just passed out from shock.
Who knows?
I'm not sure.
Who knows?
Rick James ripped her. I think he thought she was wearing a weave. And I'm saying Rick James. This is a female actress, but her hair has the Rick James look.
Yes, she's wearing the pants
so I'm not trying
and the
to be
outfit.
offensive, but
well,
this is an outfit Rick James would have worn in the 80s.
Let's put it this way: if anyone's offended, I'm technically the one that said it. So if you want to be pissed off, say it at me.
But at the same time, if you haven't seen the movie, give it a watch, and you'll realize exactly what we
She
made.
looks like Rick James.
Yeah, the hair, the outfit.
Yeah.
We're not saying the face or anything like that.
No.
We're saying the hair and the outfit
Yeah.
is very much.
Some people like to dress up like Michael
1980s.
Jackson. She likes to dress up like him.
James.
So yeah.
She became a super freak.
Yeah.
Demon. Rick James Demon is only trying to get them to listen to his latest single.
Yes.
That's the crux of
Definitely.
the whole thing.
Yeah. It's hard to break into the, it's the music industry is tough.
It really is. It really is. And even though he had a couple of hit songs, I mean, you still got to keep giving the people what they want. So now that we've gone down the road of completely false stuff for this movie, it's been fun. Although to this day, I can't figure out why there's the segue to the punks in the car. I know they factor in somewhere down the line. I don't remember, but it's just a weird break.
Hey, buddy, save that stuff for us. I'm like, shut up.
Just the placement of the Coke can. I don't know if they had a deal with Coca-Cola. I don't think they did.
How could you if there's cocaine in it and someone's snorting the cocaine out of it?
It's... I don't know. I have no idea. But, hey, regardless, I'm having a lot of fun watching this. Right, so we're going to jump back into the movie now. We'll see you folks in a minute, and I am not going to steal another of Leiann's catchphrases like I did last time.
10, 9, 8, 7 minutes to go.
All right, here we are again, back in your ears. Hope you enjoyed our brief intermission. So we've amped up a little bit. Things are getting a little more crazy.
Oh, we amped up now? Okay.
Well, yeah, the punks got inside the theater through a random door opening. Our blind guy is turned into a demon.
They crawled around in a air shaft.
Yeah, which apparently
There were demons in
one or
there.
two demons were in there, and assuming killed the boyfriend, the young couple, where he was prettier than his
Probably.
girlfriend.
So there's a way in through the alleyway, but you can't get out that way.
I think the demons can open the doors to get in and out, but
So how
Humans
do the
can't?
demons start in the first place? Because it's like its duty is to reproduce, right? You want more demons. A demon kills a human, creates another demon, and more and more and more, right?
Right.
So that's the goal of the theater. Okay, but how did it expect it to start? Was it expecting someone to put on the mask and scratch themselves? Because that's the only way it could have started.
I think everything...
No, I need logic to this. There is none.
It's an Italian horror movie. Somebody was bound to grab the mask prop from the film and stick it on their face at some point. It just happened to be Rick James. So I'm assuming the mask carried some sort of power, then the theater amplifies it. I'm not really sure.
Okay.
It's unexplainable.
And yet so thrilling.
I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from the more inappropriate touching that we got.
I think it's just something I'm going to have to get over. Because there was the punks, and the chick was in the car, and of course she had her punk vest with, like, nothing on underneath, and she had cocaine all over her chest, and the guy he had one hand using the razor to scoop up the cocaine, and then he had his other hand way too close to her nipple, and I thought, this motherfucker!
Yeah, and then...
and gets closer and closer. I'm like,
Let's not forget, then started to scrape the cocaine off of her boob and her nipple, and then cut her boob because...
They're punks on coke?
Yeah. She called him a prick, and...
Yeah.
One of the funniest things was when the punks are running around the theater, she had to stop in the room.
Okay, that's another issue I have.
Trapped, and she had to stop and look at herself and put on lipstick.
Way too many chicks in this film are going off by themselves. Stop it.
Way too many.
They're in a crowd and they purposely break off and go off by themselves and wonder why they get turned into demons.
But then if we were to go with that logic, we could look at a number of horror films where that happens.
It's unfortunate.
It's a trope.
So is your face.
We'll leave it there. Thanks. We're back, and we just finished Demons from 1985. The ending got ridiculous, like I was saying. One of our main guys, who was the creepy making advances at one of the main girls, turned out to be our action hero at the end. So what did you think about the last part that we saw, the last, 30 minutes?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Very dramatic.
A helicopter fell through the roof.
Randomly. Yeah, well, you think randomly, but then it turns out it's like the demon apocalypse, which I like because it's almost like a zombie apocalypse, but for demons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a demon apocalypse.
Yeah, and basically that one of the lead inappropriate feeler guy, he's the only one that survives. He finds a random family that takes him out into the country to live a new life.
Him and the other main girl, who was the first girl to get a ticket in the beginning from creepy Phantom of the Opera guy. They get on the car and you think everything's going to be okay. They're going to drive off with this low-rent Italian version of Sid Haig, his, I'm assuming, daughter and his son. They kill a few demons. They're like, we're going to find a place where maybe we can start a new life. But then the twist ending is our lead girl turns out to become a demon.
Yeah.
And the kid who's just casually eating a sandwich and blowing away zombies shoots her, and she gets knocked off their Jeep.
I think it's funny that our main inappropriate toucher guy started out as incredibly preppy, and then he wound up being this machismo, Rambo type character at the end.
Well, look, it just goes to show you that when the chips are down, when everything's laid out on the table, you go from preppy to action hero. I mean, his shirt was getting torn more and more towards the end, so you could see that he had the build of an action star, and his biceps were showing, and he was riding the dirt bike around the theater, swinging a fucking samurai sword killing demons. I almost said zombies. They are not zombies. They are demons.
Yes.
Overall, what did you think of the movie?
If I had to give it a number out of 5, I would say 4. A tight 4.
Nice.
Almost a 4.5, but the storyline was not, it was okay. It was okay. I liked that it was unique. I think we once found a movie where there was a possessed fridge. So this time it's a theater, and that's okay. It's Italian.
Maybe you were talking about Deathbed?
Maybe.
That was the possessed bed that was eating people?
I thought I saw one where there was like a fridge or something. I don't know.
We might have. We might have seen one. We've seen a lot of weird shit.
Yes. Deathbed was awful.
Oh, God.
Awful.
We are not going to cover that for the show.
No, we are not.
I don't know if we happened to have done it early on. I don't remember.
I hope not.
I don't think we did, and I don't think we're going to talk about it. I'm not going to sit through that, what they call a movie, but it's just a sequence of images put together that flash in your eyes when you watch it, and you never get that time back. I'm with you on the tight 4. I mean, there's a couple of things it's like, but the gore effects are good.
The gore was good. I'm gonna give it a 5 on the gore.
Just what they did with the demons looked unique.
Yeah.
They didn't look like zombies. They had green glowing eyes, and there was green goo oozing out of them. And
one thing I really appreciated was when they grew their demon teeth. Their old teeth were pushed out.
Yeah, their teeth didn't just morph into...
Didn't just magically turn into.
It was like something was taking over that vessel and
you are no longer a human.
Changing. You're no longer a human at that point. Their nails, if you look, they were growing out underneath their human nails. The teeth were being pushed out of their gums and demon teeth were showing. It was awesome. I was kind of hoping that our blind guy would get, like, demon eyes coming out of his head. Like, they would just, like, start to come out.
Yeah, that was a little disappointing.
But apparently when you're a demon, it doesn't matter if you have vision or not, because you can still... Yeah. I'm assuming he killed those cops. We didn't really see. They blew his hand apart, which I liked that effect.
Yes.
Because his hand was on the barrel of the gun. The cop fired, and all you see is his hand just kind of, like, blow apart. A finger flies off, and it's just split and kind of wiggling. Like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall, it's a fun movie. It's not...
Fun, yes.
It's not one of those where you're like, oh my god, this is such high cinematic... It's so perfect of a film. It's not that. This is a horror movie you put on if you're a horror fan.
Yes.
And you want to watch a crazy fucking Italian movie that starts off where you're like, where's this going? And then you're like, I didn't know it was going here, but I'm along for the ride.
Yeah.
This is fun. It's a popcorn movie. We didn't have popcorn. Funny enough, I got 2 boxes sitting here and we didn't pop any. But
you had one
job. It's a popcorn movie. I had one job, and I fucking failed.
Yeah, it was a really good movie.
Yeah, looking at the trivia, apparently the building that was used for the exteriors of the Metropole Theater, where everything went down, is still standing in Berlin. It's now a club called Goya that's been host to several horror conventions thanks to its appearance in this film.
Nice.
That's actually kind of cool. Just hope they don't show demons there, because... you may not.
That will be the end of humanity as we know it.
Lamberto Bava, who directed the film, cites this as his personal favorite of the films he's directed. And I'm reading this trivia off of IMDb, so it may be not 100% accurate, but yeah, it's the fun thing we do after we watch this film. In Germany, it was released as a sequel, Dämonen 2, to the second film, which is released as the first part. So, and I haven't seen Demons 2, but from what I gather, it's almost the same film, but it takes place in an apartment building instead of a theater. I think is basically the premise. I do want to see it, because I want to see where it goes. The name of the cinema, Metropole, can be seen as a building in the first Silent Hill video game. Interesting.
Very interesting.
Nice that the makers of Silent Hill were like, put another demons in there.
Yeah.
the blind man going to the cinema was meant as an ironic joke. And I'm not sure. It sounded like the woman that was with him was his daughter. Because I think at one point he said, "My girl." I'm like, well, she obviously wasn't your love interest because she was making out with the semi-balding dude who got hanged. It's hanged, right? Not
yes.
hung, it's hanged.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Make sure I'm speaking correctly here.
Pictures get hung, people get hanged.
Men are hung, people are hanged. Horses are hung. That's wrong. Let's continue on with the trivia. In the lobby of the theater is a poster for Argento's 1972 film, Four Flies on Grey Velvet. Some of the other posters include the 1980 concert film No Nukes, 1927's Metropolis, which I did see that, and I've never seen the movie, but it's one I wanted to check out. And an AC/DC poster, possibly for the 1980 documentary Let There Be Rock. Some of those posters I did see, there was one that was just... It was part of a poster for Terminator, and it just showed Schwarzenegger standing there with the gun, the red eye showing through the sunglasses, and it just said Schwarzenegger. I'm like, is that a nod to the fact that the guy's going to be sort of our Schwarzenegger for the film, our stereotypical action hero towards the end?
Yeah.
I mean, the guy found a fucking grappling hook cannon in the helicopter, attached it to a winch.
Not the chick.
The chick handed him the cable. And then she grabbed him and they winched themselves out of the theater through the hole that the helicopter created when it fell through the roof. I will say that helicopter fell awfully delicately when it came through.
Yes, and the hole was pretty small.
Yeah, the hole seemed a lot smaller than the helicopter. But I did like when they were able to get the helicopter started for a very brief amount of time and very slowly, that the blade spun around and killed some of the zombies.
Yeah.
It kind of seems like it may have been an homage to Dawn of the Dead, George Romero's film.
Right.
Because there is a scene in that where a zombie gets his head cut by helicopter blades. That's one I want you to see. It's long, and it moves slowly, but I think it's one that you would appreciate the effects in it.
Okay.
Alright, so we got one more piece of trivia, and it's the spoiler. But this movie's from 1985. If you haven't seen it, I mean, it's been out.
That's your problem.
Yeah. So the scene where the cocaine is dropped inside the car and the characters are picking it back up has been quite a subject of controversy, which led to the scene being censored almost all over the world. Interesting. So yeah, they cut that cocaine scene because it was very controversial. And
as opposed to it being in the can?
Yeah, the Coke can, which wasn't the first time we got an obvious product placement. It was in the very beginning when the girls were trying to get the soda can out of the machine that wasn't responding. This is when our two creepy guys show up and
and have to help them out.
Have to bang on the machine, but sometimes you just need the right touch. Like, ew, creep.
Barf.
Ugh. I did like when our two main girls, the friend that didn't want to go, who was like, I don't want to see it if it's a horror movie. Mm-hmm. I did like when she changed into a demon. Mm-hmm. It's because she was like, where am I? And it was a slow, dramatic change, because you're like...
She had to keep turning away so that she could give a more dramatic turn. Turn away again. Turn back. She's a little bit more demon. Turns back away. Slowly comes back.
Again and full on. Just green puke spewing. And then, with the most ineffective weapon I have ever seen used, they killed her, and I'm doing air quotes here, killed her, well, the other dark-haired creepy guy who doesn't survive essentially kills her with the vent from the air duct, which was a flimsy piece of, like, sheet metal. Like, that wouldn't do a whole lot, because if you saw, it was kind of wiggling around in his hand as he was using it.
Yeah.
But the payoff for that was we saw a full-on, which I'm assuming is what these people would eventually become, full-on demon climb out of her back, full-grown.
Which I didn't understand, but,
there wasn't any room for it to be in there, but I'm assuming maybe demons just, when they start to grow, they grow super fast. I have no idea. I was like, okay. You had the suit made. You obviously wanted to show it off. Good on you. I'm going to say it's a recommend for horror fans who are really into horror. I don't think this is a movie that casual fans would like. Like, if you just, in October, decide, oh, I'm going to watch some horror movies because it's spooky season, and that's the only time you watch them, this is not the movie for you. You can stick with the mainstream Friday the 13th, your Nightmare on Elm Streets, they're a little more fun, lighthearted in the end. This is, if you're doing a deep dive and you want to find the weird Italian shit that's just like, we're going to have somebody puke on a girl and it's going to be weird, visceral bile and green vomit, this is definitely your thing. If you like gore and you like gross shit, this is definitely one for you.
I definitely appreciate it.
And if you like random guys being tapped as the action hero to survive the film...
I do not.
It was overall a really fun movie. Like I said, I saw it a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how I couldn't remember what happened, but I think it's because I was watching it on my iPad in between, like, breaks or something. Yeah, it's a recommend. It's a solid 4 from both of us.
Yeah.
Tight 4, as you said.
Yeah.
Sounds oddly sexual, but it's a tight 4.
There's not a lot of room for wiggle room, It's a tight 4.
Yeah, I mean, it's
a sensual 4.
There is one thing I did appreciate. There was not any exploitative nudity. The one titty.
The one nipple is
the one nipple, but
but I mean that was pretty intimate. Usually it's just like a flash in a shower scene,
but I mean there wasn't like a girl running around and like her shirt got ripped off by a demon and she was like, oh no, my tits are out. It wasn't that. There wasn't a lot of boobs or sex or anything like it. It didn't need it.
Yeah.
And sometimes these Italian films, it's like, oh, okay, we've got titties. All right. 1985, Demons. Dario Argento and Lamberto Bava. Definitely something you should check out if you're into that kind of thing. Now, we are not sure what we're going to be doing for the next show, but that'll be October. October is one of our favorite months.
Yeah.
Not only because the weather begins to change, it cools down.
Things die.
It is that time of year when the veil between the world of the demonic and evil becomes super, super thin, and we celebrate Halloween. We'll think of something special to do. I said and like a lot this episode, but whatever, I don't care. Yeah, we'll think of something cool to do for you guys, and we appreciate you listening in on this ride through our journey of watching Demons. I think that's about it. You have anything else you want to add? Anything else you want to say?
No.
Okay, then. We'll end it right here. You can catch us on the social medias. You can go to Facebook, find the Facebook group, just search for Skewered Universe. We are on Twitter. You can find us there. I am at Skewered Universe. That is at Skewered U. We're also on Instagram. And I usually post there when the shows go live. I don't do a whole lot of posting otherwise. But you can go on to Instagram. You can find us there. We are Skewered_Universe. And you'll know it when you find it because the logo for the show is there. If you want to email the show, skewerduniversepodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on Podbean. Just go to Podbean and search for Skewered Universe Podcast. You can find it on iTunes, Apple Podcasts. You can find us on the Google Play Store. And if you're on Amazon, if you use that, we're now on Amazon Music. So you can find us through there. And I believe that also means if you have an Alexa device, such as an Echo, you know, one of those things where somebody says Alexa on TV, it goes off and starts answering random-ass questions and shit, you can use that and find the podcast. So have fun with that. Let us know what you think. Send us some feedback. If you have suggestions for films, throw that in. Send it to the email, skewereduniversepodcast@gmail.com. I'll say it again. Send it on Facebook, send it on Twitter, send it on Instagram. I don't care. Contact us somehow if you want. It's all there. You're all social media relevant. It's 2020. The fuck? Sounding angry, I'm not, but...
You're perpetually angry. Which is why we get along so well.
I'm always irritated at something. It's because I'm so passionate.
Yes.
So that's it. That wraps up our episode for Demons. We caught up a little bit, and we will see you guys next month in October. We'll do something fun for the Halloween season. And until then, why don't you all stay safe, wear your masks, wash your hands, and keep enjoying that universe that's just a little bit skewered.